Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline. Brent Daniels has lost a little bit of muscles, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. Oh, that's Steve Trang. That's freaking
my gosh.
Steve Trang.
Hold on a second. Is that Brent Daniels in the Steve Trang costume?
Were you about to say that my muscles are smaller than Brent Daniels? I am offended.
Well, if you compare your calf muscles to his arm muscles, you actually have bigger muscles.
I think so too.
Bro, you have the strongest calves.
And if you compare your studio to his studio, I'm saying you're doing a pretty good job with what you got going on over there, Steve.
It's a race. It's like the race to the moon. We're gonna have the race to the best studio.
Amazing.
I have to say that Jamil, you know that I have been on the Steve Trang show more times than you at this point.
Yeah.
Or is it a tie?
No.
It's
It's
a tie.
Is it a tie right now?
It's a tie.
Oh shit. Okay, Steve. When am I going to be on next so I can edge out?
Well, there's a process. There's an application process.
Oh shit.
I need updated HUDs.
Bro,
Ooh,
you don't have enough cloud. You don't have enough terabytes for me to send you all my HUDs, bro. I'm sorry.
That's a good one. You don't have enough terabytes to handle my HUDs.
You don't. But that's okay. It's all good. Steve, happy to have you on Wholesale Hotline 128. You are a legend. Everybody knows who Steve Trang is. Guys, if you don't know who Steve Trang is, then you're living under a rock and you should probably live or return there. But to give you guys just a bit of context, Steve Trang is an incredible friend. He is one of the best sales trainers in the entire country. In my opinion, I think you are the best sales trainer in the entire country.
Thank you.
In addition to that, he has the #2 podcast for all of real estate disruptors, just right behind Wholesale Hotline. So, you know, when I just said that right now, a little bit of Steve died, but
I went back to my parents telling me I'm not good enough. That's exactly where I went to.
I don't even think Wholesale Hotline would exist without real estate disruptors, because your podcast got a lot of us started in this whole concept of sharing information online and just kind of sharing what we're doing. And you have inspired so many people and done so much on your quest to make 100 millionaires. Welcome.
We got two of them right here. Got two of them right here.
Two of them. I have my trophy prominent in my office. One thing I will say is I have Steve Trang in my phone as Steve Trang, the King Maker.
Ooh,
legit. He is the Kingmaker. I've seen so many people pop off and blow up. Not only, their influencer business, but their real estate business in general. Bro, I probably make a good $500,000 a year every year since I've been on your show back in 2019, maybe 2018. I was on the show for the first time, and I just get people sending me deals. I average a text a day from that original episode where I gave my cell phone out, and people just send me a text message to go, Pace? ? Is this Pace ? Don't tell me this is still Pace's cell phone ? And
I would have changed it.
I don't know. It's kind of funny. I screenshotted you for a very long time and tagged you on it. But anyway, we are super excited to have you here. The actual topic of the show is how to start a real estate business. We wanted to talk very bare necessities. Before we get started, I do want to.
We got a fake Face Morby in the chat. We should get rid of.
There's always a Face Morby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
get rid of that Face Morby.
What's up with these Face Morbys coming in here and like using wrong names? Look at this. Good Pace Morby. Good news. We are awarding 100 Bitcoin, guys. I don't even have.
Oh, I want that.
I have 3 Bitcoin to my name. This is worthless. Okay. I'm telling you, this guy's a total scam artist.
Dude, I
Okay.
had someone
Wrong
call
one.
my office.
That one. Go ahead. Sorry.
And what do they say?
They were calling my office. They were looking for me. They're like, "Hey, like I need to talk to Steve Trang because I'm supposed to send $100,000 to his bank, and I'm starting to think I'm not talking to the real Steve Trang, right?" And thank God they called the office because they were not talking to the real Steve Trang. I am not on WhatsApp, right? But they called to verify at our office before they set the 100K. Thank goodness.
Oh my gosh, $100,000, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. So here's what we're going to talk about today, guys. I've got something really fun. This last week, Jamil and I were both kind of on vacation from the TV show. He went out to LA, took vacation. And I basically did the weirdest thing ever. I was like, let me just start a challenge that's all about real estate basics, finding opportunities, comping opportunities, then finding buyers, and then some of the vernacular and terminology. It is amazing how many people are in this business, this wholesale business, that don't know a lot of the basic terms like title and escrow. What are they? Are they the same thing? What's a double close? What exactly is an assignment? And we take for granted that we assume our audience, which right now we have about 600 people watching live, we think our audience knows all these things. So we had this idea today to go kind of basic. And how would I start a real estate business in this economy is the topic of today.
Well, to get started, I wanted to just point out, I did a beginner wholesale video for Bigger Pockets where I explain what wholesaling really is. And for those of you that don't know this, Bigger Pockets was anti-wholesaling for a long time. And it wasn't until just recently that they've embraced wholesaling as a business model and embraced it because of the ethics that the 3 of us and other people in this community have been employing in the business model. And so if you guys are interested in watching that, I would appreciate if you would watch the entire video and leave me a comment at the end of that. I just posted the link to that in the chat. So once we're done here, you guys can go check it out. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. It is a very good video. I watched it twice. It's phenomenal.
Thanks. So you're the guy who watched it. So you're the 2 views I got. Awesome.
Oh, you got a lot more than that. Are you kidding me? I'm like 500th comment on that thing. There's a lot of people watching it already. So guys, go take a look at that. So this week I'm attempting to do something, and what I'm attempting to do is actually challenge Jamil and attract Jamil to come into this challenge that I'm trying to create with Jamil and I. And this coming week, Wednesday, me and in my free Creative Finance Facebook group, we are going to submit 966 offers simultaneously as a collective group. So if you guys are, it's really cool. And then next month, between Jamil and I want to get our communities to do 2,000 offers in one day, and then 3,000 offers the next month. And by the end of the year, I want to be able to say that we as a collective group submitted 5,000 offers in one day on a single live. And so that's what we're going to be doing this coming Wednesday. We're calling it it's been called the Elephant Challenge, but it morphed into the Guinness Book World Record of most offers submitted in one day. We have somebody from Guinness coming in on Wednesday to watch us submit 966 offers to on-market deals. And I got to thank Jamil for pointing me down the right direction for this. It's been a lot of fun. So anybody that is missing out on that is happening tonight. We're just talking about the basics of real estate. We're not talking about creative finance. We're not talking about heavy things whatsoever. We've literally just been teaching people how to comp, how to look for opportunities, scripts of how to talk to wholesalers, all that kind of stuff. The link to that is tonight. We're doing it tonight at 6:30 p.m. So in an hour and 20 minutes. Okay. So anybody that is underneath Jamil's privy or my privy account, you guys are going to be in the 966 gang for Wednesday. Should be a lot of fun. So
before you jump into that, I just want to add to that. I think this is an awesome challenge. So I don't talk a whole lot about this, but when I first got licensed, I was so happy to land this investor, right? And this investor's like, Steve, I want you to submit 20 offers a day. And so I did.
20 offers a day. Is that even physically possible?
Well, I wouldn't say they were high quality work, but I was submitting 20 offers a day for them. And I did it for a few months. And I realized afterwards, like, I am working so damn hard and not reaping any of the rewards. So the one thing I got really good at was writing an offer very, very quickly. But anyway, I bring that up in that there is a this experience you get, even if you don't get the offer accepted, right? Just to practice the submitting an offer every day. I don't know exactly what the end goal is for you guys, but just getting out there, writing an offer, just reduce that pain, that hurdle to take action. I love what you guys are doing.
That is literally the goal of the challenge, is not to overwhelm people by saying, we're going to get 966 contract closed, assigned, and checks cashed. We're not trying to overwhelm anybody. We're just trying to get people through the wax on, wax off motion. By the way, I made this reference about wax on, wax off yesterday. Do you know how many people don't know what Karate Kid is? And people have not watched Karate Kid?
That's like a shame to me. Karate Kid 1, 2, 3 were like the movies that shaped my life.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Were you Danielson, the bully, or were you the
I'm
other
the
guy
good
who was
guy,
the victim?
bro. You think Danielson is the bully? Of course you would. Of course you would. Of course
Go
you
watch
would.
it again. Go watch it again. He's the bully.
Oh,
He's starting fights for no
no,
reason.
he was misunderstood, bro. He was misunderstood. Totally misunderstood. Come on.
Yeah,
Anyway,
there was
hijacking your show.
A lot of people don't know Karate Kid, but there's a reference in there, wax on, wax off. And at the end of the day, what happens is people jump into wholesaling. They start consuming all this content about assignments and wholesale and paperwork and this and memorandums and all this kind of stuff. And they've never submitted a single offer in their life. And so what we're just trying to do is get people through the motions. Now, people have already started getting contracts and it's really fun to watch, but I'm not highlighting them at all. What I'm highlighting are the people who have submitted offers for the first time. So this brings us into our topic for the day. How would all three of us start a real estate business if today we were starting out brand new, fresh in this current economic situation? How, why, and give us a little bit of details. I think we should start with Jamil Damji over there, who's taking a photo of the frozen Steve Trang.
I have a question for Steve. I wanted to ask Steve if he wanted to build a snowman.
Do you want to be the snowman?
Because you're frozen, bro.
Yeah, you are frozen, dog. Yeah, you're frozen.
Frozen.
Oh, son of a.
Are you on Wi-Fi, or have you guys not paid your internet bill over there?
Oh, man, what the heck is going on? I see that as working over here on my end, so I don't know what's going on. All right, hang on a second.
It's okay. While Steve's buffering, I have a couple of people have asked, guys, if you have privy, it doesn't matter if you signed up with me, you signed up with Pace, it doesn't matter. You are still in the Elephant Challenge. Some of you guys think that you had to cancel, and then you can't cancel and then sign up again under the same email. It's not going to work.
If they think that, it's because they're knuckleheads. I probably have reiterated that 1,000 times. What I told them is I said, look, I don't want, if you're underneath like Jerry Norton's thing or Max Maxwell's thing, I love those human beings, but I don't want to teach their students. Jamil and I are so closely related that him and I teach a lot of the same things. We teach completely different things. However, we're in conjunction with each other. And so I told people, if you're under Jamil's account, please, like, you are in this challenge. So it did not matter to me. And so
so these guys didn't hear that. So they've been canceling and then emailing me, and they're like, how do I get in? Can you get Benson can you ask Benson to delete my email and then resubmit my email? And I'm like, guys, that's not how it worked. That's not what he said.
We opened the day, and every hour we updated it and told people over 5 days. I would say over 30 hours we were live last week. We probably spent an accumulative of 2 to 3 hours talking about that specifically. If people missed it, that means they sneezed 85 times over the course of 8 days. It is what it is. It is what it is. So anyway, Steve is back. It looks like he's not as frozen as he was before.
No, you look great.
Had to switch cameras.
Okay, so there we go. Laura Smith, who was in the challenge with me a lot, she was great. She asked a lot of great questions as well. She said they heard it, they just didn't pay attention. I specifically 100 times said, if you are underneath Jamil, you are solid. So that being said, let's get into it. First question of the night, and I want to fill up the chat with a lot of questions. We have 650 people watching live right now. Okay. By the way, thank you, Edwin. I would say the number one compliment I've gotten in my life is how patient I am with new people. And so tonight we are going to be talking about new people and what would you all three do if you had to start all over? I'm going to ask this question in 2 different ways. Okay. The first way I'm going to ask the question is, if you started over today, knowing what you know now, having the resources you have now, How would you go out and build a real estate business that brings in $100,000 a month in profit to your bottom line? That's the question.
And I
If
get
you
to
were
know what I know now.
if that's the first thing. If you know what you know now, having the resources you have now,
So I got the
but
money I have now too.
everything you have right now, your friendships, your relationships, everything you are you, except I strip you butt naked and I put you in the middle of a new market and I go, you have no business. You have to go create a brand new business. What would you do? Who wants to go first? Steve Trang or Jamil Damji?
I'm happy to kick it off. So for me, because I've got resources and I have the knowledge that I have, I'm going to do what I did the first time because it allowed me to build the most successful wholesale operation ever. And that is go build relationships with real estate agents. They have low-hanging fruit ready for you to transact on right away. And so that's exactly what I would do. I would go find an internet connection. I'd go to an internet cafe or I'd go to a library and I'd get on a computer and I would go and find Zillow or a real estate agent listing for whatever city that you drop me off in. And I would just start calling from A all the way down to the end of the day. And I bet you that in that day, I could probably make about 60, 70 contacts. I'd make 60 or 70 new relationships with agents. And I would just be asking them if they have anything in distress condition or anything that needs a tremendous amount of work coming to market that I could take a look at. After that, I would then go onto the MLS and I would look at any house that had been listed for 30 days or longer that was in original condition that was just sitting stale. I would look on Zillow and I'd see how many views, how many saves, and I'd see, is there not a lot of action going on here? Then I would comp that property because I do have my brain still. I still know the things I know. And I would say, what could I offer on this deal that would actually make this a deal? Then I would go and I, just like you do on Privy, I would call all those real estate agents and I would say, hey, I noticed that you have a stale listing on the MLS right now, and I think it's because it's overpriced for its condition. Does your seller realize that they're going to have to negotiate, that it's not going to sell at this number, and are they ready for a realistic price? And if the agent says yes, then I would say, amazing. This is the number that I would be willing to buy this house at. Do you want to represent me? And I would do that over and over and over and over and over again. And I bet you by the end of the day, I'd have something under contract. And I bet you by the end of the next day, I'd have that thing sold.
Damn, that's pretty good. Okay. So is that how you would build your business to get to $100,000? You would just repeatedly do that over and over.
Bro, this business is not about like finding a variety of different ways to skin the cat. For me, at least in my situation, this is a business of repetition. This is a business of getting in and doing the same work day after day, minute after minute, second after second, and compounding that into the effect. I only need to do 4 or 5 deals to make $100,000 in a month, dude. So for me, I can absolutely get that done in 30 days.
Love it. I absolutely love it. I will go directly to Steve Trang now that he's had time to formulate his question. What do you got, brother?
So, I mean, if I have the same resources, right, I would just get in the market, post all over social media. Hey, I'm in your market and I want to help you close deals. Bring me all your leads. I will call all the sellers myself, close those deals for you, and JV those deals for you. So I'm going to rely on my sales skills. I'm going to rely on my social media presence, right? And just announce, hey, I'm in your market. I'm trying to make $100,000 a month. So everyone, bring me your leads. Sit in, I don't know, a WeWork or whatever, and I'm going to sit there and hammer out all those dead leads, right? All those leads that didn't work, convert them, hand it back to them, or JV it myself, right? Post on social media, I got this deal, who's interested in it? But I'm going to rely on my skills and my social media presence to just get contracts, because if we have the same resources, right? I'm assuming I still have my phone too. We have incredible relationships.
You have all your resources except for your clothes. Like I said, you're butt naked. So the only resources you have is that you're just naked.
I'm gonna have to borrow someone's magic underwear, but
I got some of that.
But beyond that, I'm just gonna hammer the phones, right? I'm gonna do the one thing that I know well, because I got to cut my teeth for 15 years, calling leads, right? Generating leads, calling them, closing them myself. So I'm gonna do the same exact thing I know from before.
I love it. Okay, great. So I am very similar to Steve in this regard, except for me, it's creative finance. In fact, I've gotten to a point where I tell 90% of people that DM me cash deals, I go, if this is not a creative finance deal, I don't even want to look at it. I've also shifted my focus a lot more. Is that I'd probably say about 70% of what I do is buy and hold. I see a deal, I want to hold it in my portfolio. What I used to do in the very beginning of my phase is that I would assign everything, including sub 2 and seller finance deals. I would assign every cash deal, right? And then you start fixing and flipping, and then you start accumulating a portfolio. And so now I'm at a point where it's like, my gut reaction is just to buy everything. So, but if I was going to build a business today that built $100,000 in assignments, I would do what I'm doing right now in my DMs or anywhere. And I would just go very similar to what Steve said, is say, give me every lead that said they wanted too much money or had no equity. In fact, Robin Hurt, I don't know if Steve, if you know who Robin Hurt is. Do you know who she is?
We've interacted on social media.
Okay, so Robin's great. She has a history, like so many other people, that they've joined mentorship after mentorship, kind of looking for that easy button, the thing that works for them. And, it's like joining a college class and saying, oh, that was good, but I'm going to look for more. I'm going to look for more. Look for more before
Let me
you
know
go
when you
out.
find that easy button.
Yeah, me too. Same thing. So what happens is Robin Hurt ends up joining my program, and she wins that Follow the Leader challenge, where I'm going to move out to her hometown, move my wife, my kids to her hometown, and build her business for 30 days. Well, unfortunately, the TV show has moved us back so many times that now I've pushed that all the way to October, when I was originally going to do it in July. So I created this little challenge, and I said, Robin, you and I are just going to be partners for 2 weeks. I'm going to just teach you the basics and the bare necessities. And I'm going to show you how to go get dead leads from wholesalers. I'm going to show you how to do this, this, and this. And so she got her first deal on Saturday.
That's awesome.
Sub 2 deal, a lady who it says, I haven't made payments in 7 years. And I'm like, on the call with Robin that she closed, she's going to make $10,000 on this deal. I asked the seller, I go, why haven't you sold this to another investor? She goes, I've been under contract. Nobody's been able to wholesale. I'm like, she's gotten to a point where she knows what wholesale is. That's how many times she's been under contract. So I would go out and immediately go to every wholesaler in town, like I do, and say, give me the stuff that you can't close, that wants too much money, or it has no equity. And people say, well, how is it that nobody has, people don't have equity? Guys, it's very, very common. So creative finance, assigning those deals to end buyers, or assigning those or not assigning them, but doing wraps, turning those into creative finance deals on the back end, make $100,000 a month net in your pocket very easily. Just handling dead leads. That's what I would do, knowing what I know now. I wouldn't spend any money on ad spend at all. I wouldn't get a CRM. I wouldn't get anything. I would just work on my dead leads. And then as I built momentum, I would then start hiring virtual assistants, get a CRM, start stacking, and I'd get up to $200,000 a month, or I would start acquiring stuff. So now going back, second question, Jamil, we are at 775 people here on Wholesale Hotline. Everybody came to see Steve Trang tonight. Here's my question. Second question. You're brand new. Okay. You're brand new. You have no money. You have lack of resources, and you have a basic understanding of real estate, meaning you know that wholesale exists, right? You know what real estate agents do. You know what a title and escrow company does. And you might even know where to generate leads. Where would you spend your time without a social media presence, without the money you have, without the influence you have? Where would you go, knowing that you might be bumping into things and screwing things up, not have a perfect, eloquent answer to everything? You might not even have the words and the vernacular that you currently have all up in your brain. Where would you go? Where would you spend your time to go do your first deal?
I mean, this is the $1 million question that you and I are trying to solve all the time, right? And I believe we've done a great job in helping people figure this part out, and that's community. That's jumping into a group of people that can give you or lend you resources of knowledge and resources of their experience, so that I'm cheating, right? Essentially, what I want to do is, if I have no experience, I've not done a deal yet, but I know what wholesaling is, and I know that there's these groups of people that get together and they talk, like they are on podcasts. There's this podcast called Wholesale Hotline where these 3 dudes talk about wholesale. Well, there must be people in the chat that I could jump in and make networking connections with, right? So I'd show up to those online live events so that I could network. I would go into Facebook groups and I would network there. I would try to find as many resources online where I could see people congregating that are of like mind, doing the exact same thing I'm trying to do or doing that successfully. And I would go and try to offer them some kind of value. If that meant, hey, is there a task that you need done? Hey, is there something that I could give you? Is there something that I could donate of myself and time and energy and effort so that I could show you that I'm ready, willing, and able to be helpful? In return, all I ask is that you show me the ropes. You give me a little bit of information. You show me or teach me something that I'm lacking in knowledge so that I can get to my first deal. Pace, how many people have you and I seen get their first deal by holding hands with other people getting their first deal?
So many people.
This is it.
Ironically, you brought up Ingrid. You brought up this topic, and Ingrid Hernandez has made almost her entire business about that, helping other people get their first deal. And it works, dude. It absolutely works.
1,000%. I mean, you look at any of the student leaders that you're dealing with, right? That are a part of Sub 2, or any of the student leaders that I'm working with in Astro Flipping, or any of the student leaders that Steve has in his program. I can tell you that those people that are growing, those people that are scaling, you want to know what's consistent, or what's the thing that I noticed that's happening in all of them and all of their personalities, that they are willing to share, that they are willing to connect, that they are willing to teach the person behind them, because they know that it is a compounding additive effect to their business and their life. Everybody that you help comes back and adds value to your business. And you may have some turkeys that just run away with what you taught them and gobble. Okay, fine. Let them do that. Let the turkeys gobble. The rest of us are going to be here connecting, creating, building community, building a raft so that we can all float on this sea together. And that sea is financial freedom, guys. That's what it is. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. If I'm left with, I have no name, I have no influence, I have no brand, I have no resources, I have not the knowledge that I have, but I understand that this exists, I'm going to be where the people are. Look, I've seen hundreds of folks in this chat that I can remember when it was their first time. Like, hey, for instance, we have who there that I can recognize. He calls himself the Patriot. Joel, I believe his name is, right? I've been seeing Joel in the chat. I remember when Joel first came on to Wholesale Hotline. The first time he started commenting.
All his comments, yeah.
Yeah, I remember him. And he's now become a fixture in the community. Well on his way to doing a good job. Well on his way to creating the financial destiny that he's on. And that's the trajectory, guys. You watch it. You see how people grow from just networking with the folks on this show. That's the ticket. That's the trick.
Love it. All right, Steve Trang, brand new, right? Somebody's brand new.
My answer I don't think is popular, but for me, I would find one of the best operators in the market. I would just work for them. You know, finding someone that has a business that has systems and processes and scripts, onboarding and everything else is going to be much more corporate, right? But finding someone that has a business model that I can basically intern, right? Learn while I earn. So for me, I mean, I had the honor of having Jamil mentor me, right? When I was up and coming as a wholesaler. So having someone like Jamil that I could work for, you know, where he's got leads that he's paying for, that I can learn with no risk, right? The only risk I have is not getting a paycheck this month, but I got nothing out of pocket. I don't have to worry about 0 months, which is, you know, some of us when we're on our way up have 0 months, have negative months, right? I mean, right now, I think there are a lot of people in the wholesaling industry that are probably having some negative months because the market shifted and they weren't ready for it. So for me, starting brand new, I would find a mentor, someone that's actually doing deals in my market and work for them. Not forever, right? Just long enough so that I can go off and do this on my own. But I'm going to have, again, systems and processes, lead gen models, scripts, training, everything else so that I can be a successful business owner, you know, a year, 2, 3 years after I start working for them.
I love that answer because I'm going to give you some, like even this year, last year I bought 90 doors through multifamily. Okay. Just kind of by myself, JVing with some of my students, creative finance, mobile home parks, etc. This year in January, I had a goal to acquire 500 doors in multifamily, specifically 500 doors, all through creative finance. And I knew immediately what the answer was, right? Because I'm not a multifamily guy. It's not like my main thing that I go focus on. So what did I do? I went and joined a mentorship. I spent money to go and learn from the best of the best. And what I really learned was just being around that proximity, right? So check this out. Jamil and I were just in South Carolina, and we stood on stage, and right before we had the meetup after the, speaking on stage, I always tell people, hey, when you come up to me, tell me two things. I want to know your name, and I want to know your number one issue. And so after the meetup, people come up, had this guy come up and he goes, hey, my name's Tim, and my number one issue is I have analysis paralysis. I go, that is definitely not your number one issue. Your number one issue is that you don't have, I said, you have the inability to introduce yourself to people in the business. That is actually your number one problem. And he goes, wow, really? And I go, yeah, it's as basic as that. It's you have an inability or a fear of introducing yourself to people in the business. Because he goes, I've been trying this. I'm on YouTube. I do books. I go to the seminars. I go, those are really great to spark you and to keep you warm, like around the campfire, but that's not going to change your everyday thinking. He goes, well, what do you mean? And I go, well, you see that tattoo on your right forearm? And he goes, yeah. And I go, I'm willing to bet you that you got that tattoo because, and he cut me off and he goes, because my friends were getting tattoos. I go, exactly it, right? You hang out with people and they rub off on you. Okay. Good, bad, or indifferent. It just happens. We all know this from our previous years with our parents, how it shows up in the way we behave today. And essentially what we have to do is through our 20s and our 30s, we have to figure out how to break free from all those chains that were put onto us when we were 2 years old, all the way up to 18 years old, when we lived in our parents' house and were around the high school friends that we were around. And I said, the challenge is as we become adults, the people we hang out with and the words they speak and the things they talk about and the way they, think about money, whether it's a good thing, a bad thing, or it's evil or it's not evil, those become tattoos on the brain. And the way they manifest is not on your skin, but they manifest in your bank account. They manifest in the way you talk, the way you walk. Everything is all about the people that you hang out with. And so I made a decision. I want to become a player in the multifamily space. I don't want to just be somebody doing multifamily deals. I've done that. I want to become a major player in the multifamily space utilizing creative finance. And so what did I do? I started hanging out with Brandon Turner, right? I joined his mastermind. I spent time around Tim Bratz, who he was just recently on your show, had him stay at my house. I paid him, right? I could have just been friends with him from an influencer to influencer model, but I'm like, no, I'm going to respect your time. I want to pay you. I want to be part of your community. And then I also got really close to Ken McElroy from YouTube. Everybody knows Ken McElroy. He runs all the multifamily stuff for Robert Kiyosaki. So for me, it's like, how many people can I put around me that I have no choice but to succeed, right? Because those are my friends. Those are the conversations I'm having. I then told this story. The guy goes, well, can you give me a real life example of how this works? And I go, yes, here's a perfect example. Steve Trang goes and starts a title company. Guess what happens? All of his friends go and start title companies. This is what happens when you hang out with players in the industry, is that we give each other permission, or we go, yeah, is Steve starting a title company? I guess that's what we should be doing. Okay, guess we got to figure that out. Next thing you know, yeah, it's an option, right? Jamil goes and does 100 assignments in a month, 200 assignments in a month, goes and builds a franchise model. And I look at both and I go, Steve Trang has a title company. Jamil is nationwide in 115 markets. I wonder if I can create a title company that goes to 200 individual zip codes. So I go to Jamil, I go, you want to go build a title company? Steve already gave us permission. And those are the conversations you're having behind the scenes. And so for me, I 100% look at proximity to people who are actually playing the game. Now, Tabitha, I want to address this, and Jamil, I'll give you a chance to address it too. Tabitha, here's the number one thing I would do when I'm brand new. I would write out my expectations, the real expectations of being in business. 99% of people in this world are not wealthy. 1% of them are. Okay. And I can tell you, it actually does have a lot to do with who you are, where you were born, who your parents are, your religious background, your skin color actually does have something to do with it. And I'm sorry to tell everybody that the truth. However, we all have the same amount of opportunities. And that is what a community does. A community helps you fight through all those real life situations that we have all had and fought through. I tell people all the time, they go, why do you help so much? Why do you care so much? I go, because I was born on third base. It's my obligation to help people get on first base. I was born on third base. I had a cheat code. I had parents that are still together. My parents didn't beat me. My parents didn't abuse drugs. I didn't have those things to fight through. So it is my obligation. It's Jamil's obligation. It's Steve's obligation to help the people that weren't born in as good of situations as us. This is why we build the communities and we spend the time. So here's what I would do. I would, number one, have the expectation that most people I encounter need me to filter them out of my life. You need people to come into your world and slight you. You need people to come into your world and show you their true colors. It's better they showed you their true colors now than 2 years later in a business partnership when you own 5 businesses together. Look at God and the universe as that was the greatest gift he could have ever given you in that situation, was allow you to filter that person out of your life and be grateful for that. That should be an expectation, not a surprise. You need to go out and meet a dozen people to have one absolutely killer relationship. Now, going back to the community aspect, what our job, Steve Trang, Brent Daniels, Jamil Damji, and myself, our job is to aggregate as many go-givers as humanly possible together and attract the go-givers of the industry into our lives so that you don't have to go through 12 people. You might have to go through 2 in order to find an absolute badass. Okay. The second, go ahead. Sorry.
I think Paige should start some sort of sermon, maybe some sort of Sunday service or something.
Sorry. Am I going crazy right now?
No, I think it's wonderful. I think what you're saying is so powerful that it's a great message that people need to hear, right? It's that you do have that gift to know now versus later. Every time I see a business divorce, every time I see something fall apart, it's like, thank God you found out now, because it'd be a lot worse. It'd be a lot messier in 2 years or 5 years.
Yeah, we run into people all the time, guys, in our industry that you have to filter out. You have to filter them out. There's a reason why there's a 99% and a 1%, is that the 1% show up. And guess what, guys? The higher you get, the smaller the circle is. Okay. And so what you have to do is you have to fight your ass. Like, you have to fight so hard to get into those circles, and you have to do it consistently. So this year I made a goal to buy 500 multifamily deals, or 500 multifamily doors. I'm right now, just because of the proximity I was in with the right people and being able to be into Facebook groups that had the right people to give me the right answers and give my team access to the right attorneys, the right things, the right whatever. Brandon Turner, Tim Bratz, Vina Jetty, and a handful of other people in the multifamily space, Ken McElroy, those 4 people have gotten me to a point where I'm at 900 doors only 8 months through the year. And I wasn't a multifamily player in January, and I'm still not a multifamily player at the end of the day. We're just getting the ball rolling. And so proximity, 100%, guys, you have to have that expectation. The next thing I would say is that the other expectation, this is one of my favorite things that Jamil has ever said to me. He said 2 really powerful things kind of in the same line, is carry water, chop wood. Okay. It's an old Chinese proverb or a parable. And then the second thing is, you are not entitled to the reward or the success. You are entitled to the work. And so what I would have taught myself in the very beginning is immediately love every minute of this and learn and learn and learn and get addicted to the euphoria I feel every time I add one little piece of information. Like you should end the day by saying, I learned what the difference between title and escrow is today. I learned what an assignment contract is and why they call it an assignment contract. I learned whatever it is. Imagine if you're brand new and in 365 days, you just learned one thing for 365 days. At the end of the year, you'd know 365 things about this business. And if all you did was have that expectation, That's what I would have told myself, is the expectation of filtering through people to find the right people, get to the right people as fast as I possibly can, because they will put tattoos on your mind, whether you want it or not. And the third thing is, do not expect results, expect euphoria from learning things and progressing forward.
You know how long it took for me to learn the difference between title and escrow?
Probably 10 years.
It was exactly 10 years, right? I got licensed in 2007, and it wasn't until I started a title company, it's like, wait a minute. There's a difference between a title officer and an escrow officer? Who does what?
Right.
So 10 years. It wasn't until I actually had to do my due diligence to understand exactly what product I was buying that I understood the difference. So yeah, it's you would think that it's obvious, right? And once you do understand it, it's obvious. But it's just one of those things where it's completely not common sense until, why would it be anything different?
Right. Jamil, do you want to give an answer to Tabitha real quick, since she just, it was basically to you?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I loved everything you said, Pace. And to add to that, there's a piece here that I think we really need to address. And Tabitha, you're not going to love this, and it's okay that you don't, but I'm going to tell you something. When you get screwed by somebody, when something terrible happens, when you are in a situation and obviously you've been slighted and things didn't go the way that they should have, or you wanted them to, understand that you attracted that 1000%, that you brought that to yourself. Now, I don't know why, and I don't know what it was or what energy you brought to that circumstance or situation that had that same energy find you, but it is what it is. Because I'll tell you what, I've never been treated like a piece of shit in the world until I was a piece of shit in the world. And I'm not saying again that's what you're doing, that by any means, okay? You very well could have attracted that to learn a lesson. But the fact is that you are reflecting what's happening inside you, outside you. And you were always bringing that to you to understand and learn through. So rather than be upset that 3 people ghosted you, rather than be upset that you did work and got no reward for it, rather than looking at it from that perspective, why not look at it from, what do I learn about what I was putting off? What am I learning about the energy that I put out there that attracted these 3 individuals to me, rather than the kind of individuals that I'm looking for? How do I need to adjust myself? How do I adjust my tone, my energy, my input, so that people are responding to me in a different way and I'm attracting the different kind of folk? That's it.
That's
Jamil,
powerful.
do you attract more bees with honey or with vinegar?
I mean, bro, you know the answer to that, right? It's honey always, right? You are always going to get what you are. You take 2 droplets of water, you put them on a platform, and you watch for the next 30 minutes, and they will find themselves getting to each other. That's what happens. Like attracts like. It's science.
You know, I get this question, right? Like, Steve, like, what kind of JV agreement should you use? What kind of JV agreement should I get everything in writing, right? And my answer is always, absolutely, you should get a JV agreement in writing. You should get it signed. Absolutely. And all the JV deals I've ever done, never done that, right? I've done plenty of JV deals with Pace, plenty of JV deals with Jamil. Never once had to get a signed contract, never had to worry about it, right? So there's like the right way to do business, right? Get your I's dotted and your T's crossed. But my whole life, I've been a handshake guy, and it's never come back to bite me.
You know, it's interesting. I'm sure that there have been times where people have gone around you or what have you, or they've done things in business a little bit weird, and you just go, I'm not going to do business with that person because they're not the way I want to do business. They're just out of their life, right? Yeah. I don't think a JV agreement is going to make those people better. So like when we launched Sub 2, right, we had like 65 creative finance documents. We had 5 wholesale things. We had assignments. We had all the other things. And my students started saying, hey, we're doing a lot of deals with each other. Can we get a JV agreement? I'm like, oh shit. I literally don't even have a JV agreement ever. And I understand why people have them. And I do advise people, when you're brand new, like if you're going to just regimen and make sure you're checking all the boxes, you should have a JV agreement. But it is interesting that primarily every deal I've ever done with Jamil, with Brent, with Steve is like, hey, I've got a deal. You want to do it? Great. Here you go. Great. Close of escrows on this date. Perfect. Who's your title company? Cool. All right. I'll send over earnest money. It's that easy to do deals with people that are just honest.
Yep.
Saves so much time. And you're not losing stress. You're not losing sleep. It's just, It's done.
Right. Now, one thing I do want to address there, when you're brand new, right, and you're starting this business, I do see people that feel like they've gotten burned, that actually did not get burned, right? When you actually get into the depth of it and the understanding, they just didn't understand the climate of, you know, the A to B contract, the B to C contract, and they didn't actually have things documented, or they didn't have this, or they had something incorrect, or they pitched it wrong, or whatever, and they said somebody screwed me. I'm like, okay, well, let's get on the phone. And then you find out, like, actually, they didn't screw you. You didn't position this properly. You told them the incorrect close of escrow date, or you didn't tell them this, and they didn't put in earnest money because your assignment contract doesn't say earnest money on it. They didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know what you were doing. So, guys, make sure that when you assume people have done something to you, assume that they just didn't have the right information, and go and verify before you have that judgment put on them, if that makes sense. We got some good questions tonight. You guys want to jump into some questions?
Let's get it.
Let's do it.
Ingrid says, when people bring me deals, I ask up front, what are the intentions of the deal? I always ask that question. Ingrid's such a great student of the game. She's doing such a great job. All right, here we go. Mia Smith. I think this is more of a comment, and we'll get into some questions here in a second. I have people I never sign JV agreements until after the deal is done, and that is solely to direct title how much to pay whom. We have never had to have signed ahead of time because of the love and the trust. Guys, that is very true. If people have been in this business for 10, 15 years and they're still doing deals, chances are they're not using JV agreements. They just have a really strong reputation in town, and people just use them. On the other side of things, all three of us know probably about 15, 25 people just in Phoenix, Arizona, that maybe are in business for a year or less, and they just fizzle off like a fart in the wind because of the way that they do business, whether they have a JV agreement or they don't. Do we all agree with that?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
1,000%. Like, I mean, Steve, we've all collectively interacted with those individuals that have been not the best, right? They're shady tactics, they're dishonest, and they go around you, they do the things, right? But the facts is that, like, you always know when you're interacting with somebody that I don't get a good vibe off of this person. I don't feel like I can trust this guy, or I don't feel like I can trust this girl. And so, again, Tabitha, I have a tremendous amount of empathy for your position and how you feel that squatting up served you in the past. And I truly believe that we need to uncover a little bit more of what's going on there, because look, there's 980 people on this live right now, and 980 of them want to know you. 980 of them want to squat up with you. 980 of them won't give you that same situation or that same result that you just described. And so rather than get scorned or feel fearful of connecting with these folks, why don't you just shelf that and come in and adjust the energy and say, hey, I'm here. This community, why don't you embrace me and I'll embrace you, and let's see what we can take this and do with it.
Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, here we go. Here's a great question from Brandon Wenzel. By the way, guys, like Jamil said, we have well over 900 people in here, nearing 1,000 people on this live on Monday evening. So thank you so much for tuning into Wholesale Hotline. On the screen, you have Steve Trang, the Kingmaker. I still argue he has the greatest format of any podcast I've ever seen. It was so smart. I was watching him interview all these people that are these badass business owners, and Steve just collecting data and going and building his own business. And then I started seeing all these people in the industry just started compounding their success. And I would ask people the common question, where are you learning from? What are the number one things that you're getting information from? And it was always Real Estate Disruptors. To me, it's the greatest podcast in wholesale. So Steve Trang is on the screen with us today. Brent Daniels is on vacation, and Jamil Damji, who was on vacation last week, is back with us on the screen. So this is not a great question, I think, for me. I think this is more of a question for Steve Trang. Brandon Wenzel says, advice for transitioning from a realtor to a wholesaler. I'm curious about this answer, Steve, because I get this all the time in my group. I've never been a real estate agent. You were a real estate agent, are a real estate agent, and you are a broker. What would you say to people? Is it a mindset shift? Is it a tactical thing? What would you say is a good way for them to transition?
It's absolutely a mindset shift. I think one of the things that when you're transitioning is so many of the realtors have this thing in their head where my job is to get Pace the most amount of money possible for his house. And that's the only thing Pace cares about, right? There's this mindset that's pervasive. And it's true maybe 90% of the time, but it's not true 100% of the time, right? There are other things that go into the calculation. There's convenience, there's ease, there's no showings, there's get this done tomorrow. There's all sorts of factors, right? If that wasn't true, there wouldn't be an open door and an offer pad, right? Those companies exist because price is more important. Convenience is more important than price. And so for a realtor, when they're transitioning, you got to figure out what's important to the homeowner. So you got to go in there when you're running your appointment, trying to figure out what is it exactly the seller wants, right? And if the seller wants price and it's all they care about, then you put on your realtor hat. But if it's convenience, it's peace of mind, it's no showings, it's done in a week. If it's I don't want to put a sign in the yard, I don't want my friends to know. If it's I want to go hang out with move in with my grandkids on the other side of the country. If it's someone's sick, whatever the case is, price is not the most important thing. And one of the things I see a lot, all of us, we're all guilty of this, is we think price is the single most important factor in every decision, right? But if price was the single most important decision, then Pace, Jamil, and I would be riding our bikes to work, right? Or walking, right? We would not be driving whatever cars we drive, right? I made fun of Pace a couple weeks ago, right? He has a very snobby attitude when it comes to trucks. He would not be caught dead in an F-154 Raptor, right? But there's a reason for it. Is he was looking for something that checked multiple boxes, and then he looked for the best price vehicle that checked all the boxes. I live in Chandler, Arizona, right? I wanted 4 bedrooms, 3 baths in Chandler, Arizona. And after that, I found the best price home that fit that criteria. So I think when you're transitioning from realtor to wholesaler, just understand price is not the single most important thing. Everyone says it is. It's not. Do your job to uncover what's important to the homeowner and then craft an offer or solution that fits their needs.
Can I just interject here with a quick thing?
Yes, sir. You deal with a lot more real estate agents than most people do.
Well, everybody in my company is licensed. So first and foremost, guys, I think that we don't have to look at this as a shift. I don't think we have to look at this as a transformation by any means. Look, a realtor is a licensed individual who can broker real estate, right? And so as a realtor, your job is to help your seller with exit strategies, with solutions. And wholesaling is an exit strategy. So there's no point in looking at this from how do I be this or that? Why not say, why don't I learn about wholesale so that as a real estate agent, I have this exit strategy as a tool? I can provide a cash solution to my seller if a cash solution is the best solution for my seller. That's where I think people are going to get messed up, is that they're thinking that they got to shift, right? They got to change. And then all of a sudden they're in a listing appointment and they're like, how can I buy the house? But that might not be the best solution for this person. And so look at this as I've got a new tool to add to my tool belt as a realtor. Now I have the opportunity to provide cash offers to my sellers. What an incredible exit strategy. What an incredible resource to add to my already incredible business as a realtor.
I love that answer. And I would suggest, as a little cherry on top, go to YouTube and type in Wholesale Hotline Monique Walker. It was a great episode. Jamil makes probably $1 million a year with this real estate agent, and she doesn't look at herself as an agent. She looks at herself as a solution provider. And going back into what Steve talked about is that she goes in and thinks about the client first and then changes the hat that she's wearing based on what the client actually needs. Really, really, really great answer. So a couple of good, really amazing questions that are pouring in here. Next Level Lifestyle says, I want to be successful enough in this. My wife and I can have a nice house up near you guys in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's in the cards for you. I can tell you it's definitely in the cards for you. Here you go. Jamil, this one's a great one for you. Jasper's son, he's become a fixture in the Sunday service community. He comes in every Sunday service. We pop him on the screen. He's been doing a great job. He's been working with Tevin Moxham, one of my students, and cranking out deals, doing a good job. Jasper's son says, what is something daily we can help improve our mindset? Jamil, you and I talked about this actually earlier today on set at the hit television show, Triple Digit Flip.
Yeah, we sure did, Pace. And you know, it's funny, right? I believe mindset is a decision that you make every single day. I don't wake up and I don't wake up just rainbows. I don't wake up like, everything is amazing. I got to wake up and I got to make a decision that today I'm going to be in my power, that today I'm not going to allow lower emotions to control my life, that I'm not going to allow situations that could extract a reaction from me to get a reaction from me. I'm going to have more power. I'm going to be able to respond instead of react, that I'm going to add empathy to every interaction that I'm in. And when I do that, when I act in that place, the results speak for themselves. I think that every single day, it's important for you to do at least 15 to 20 minutes of focused mindset work, whether that be in the form of meditation, whether that be in the form of affirmations, whether that be in the form of journal entering, whether that be in the form of just speaking your goals or writing your goals or looking at a vision board. Some form of mindset work is necessary to frame your day. If you're not doing that, you're basically not. Imagine this, right? Would you ever leave your house without brushing your teeth? No, right? Because even though you might not smell your own breath, other people are going to have to deal with what's coming out of your mouth.
Damn it. Are you telling me I had bad breath on set today?
No, but it's the same thing for your mindset, right? If you don't brush your mindset, if you don't affect or actually make the decision to work on the way that you are entering the world for today, then you are going to go and your mindset is going to stink. It's going to stink to everybody around you because you didn't make a decision to make that a important part of how you were going to affect your day. Pace, you and I have made this, we've pondered this problem so deeply that we've thought about it probably for the last 2 years on how we can actually come up with a solution to help people with their mindsets. And are you ready to do what we talked about today? Do you think that that's something that we should talk about today?
Yeah, I wish we could have jumped into a Bill and Ted's telephone booth and gone back in time and done it 2 years ago.
What Pace and I want to do is we want to start a morning ritual where we can get thousands of people to join us for 20 to 30 minutes every single morning. This isn't a mentorship thing. This isn't Astro. This isn't just Sub 2. This isn't Real Estate Disruptors. This is the community as a whole, for us to all get together for 15 to 20 minutes every single morning and do the same activity, the same exercise to prime our mindsets so that we're moving in our best power throughout the rest of the day. If that's something that you guys would be interested in joining Pace and I with every single morning, then leave us a comment.
I love that. I absolutely love that. One thing I can tell you, Jasper, is that I found what fills my cup a long time ago. I know it fills my cup, and I do it every single day. The number one thing that fills my cup is watching other people progress, especially as you reach a certain point of financial. Like Steve Trang will never have to worry about money ever again. Even if the economy crashes and he loses everything, with the skill sets that he has and the brain he has and the resources he has, he can rebuild himself up in any economic situation. Same thing with Jamil. Same thing with me. If I lost everything because the economy or something horrible happens, we have what we need to go and make money for the rest of our lives, which is super powerful. It gives you confidence to move in a different way when you have that ability. So you reach that level of success and that level of freedom that you then start really learning what fills your cup. And what fills my cup on a daily basis is watching other people progress. And so for me, a big part of my meditation and a big part of what I do on a daily basis is, this is really still silly. Jamil and I have a little bit different flavor. I meditate by doing physical work around my house by myself. I like to keep my hands busy as I'm walking around and I'm not listening to anything. My phone is not with me. I literally just keep my hands busy so my mind quiets down. And I start thinking about the people I need to help that day, the people that might have messaged me the day before, the people that are struggling, or the challenges that we're trying to bring into our community that would really bolster and change people's lives. Those are the things that I meditate on, and it gets me hyped to go through the rest of my day. There's not a moment you will ever meet me in my life out in the regular world that I am not hyped about every single second I'm living. I don't get down. I don't get tired. I don't get any of those things. I don't get depressed. It's because of that first 20, 30 minutes in the morning and the way that I meditate, that Jamil really shed a lot of light on for me, is like, you have to have a way to quiet your mind in the morning and focus on the things that you need to focus on. So I think that's a great idea, Jamil.
So I want to say everything what Jamil said was spot on. One book that helped me a lot with that was The Miracle Morning. Give you some routines that if you may or may not want to incorporate. And I think the other thing too, we mentioned, half an hour ago about the power of your network, right? Like who you surround yourself with. And one thing that doesn't get counted enough in your network is the books you're listening to. So I am always listening to an audiobook. I'm always learning from someone that's way smarter than me, right? And so that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me driven, is that on top of wanting to do all these crazy things, in my life, I have references that people that are doing it better than me that I get to listen to program my brain every single day.
I love it. Jamil, we should start talking about launching that thing in the next 30 days or so. Organize it, get a little sign up sheet, waiting list, all that kind of stuff, and come up with a name for it so that people can kind of recognize, and all of that kind of stuff would be cool.
Absolutely. I honestly, I believe it's a game changer. And I feel like everybody that participates in that, regardless of what your journey is, whether you're on wholesale, whether you're doing creative finance, whether you're doing all of it, whether you're buying and holding, whether you're not even interested in real estate, you're just an entrepreneur and you enjoy hanging out with us. I believe that getting yourself in the right mental framework first thing in the morning will absolutely blast your day off. Like, that's how you win the world.
Jamil, Lauren Swartz says, what time do you start your day? Oh, he says, what time do you start your work day? Actually, let's answer this in two different ways. What time are you typically getting up? People are obsessed with morning routines. They want to know, like, am I starting my day right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what time do you typically get up? I know usually what time you get up. You are surprisingly, when I met you, I was like, this dude likes to sleep in.
Nope.
That is not how Jamil is. It's very interesting. So what time do you get up and what time do you start working?
Typically 4:30 or 5 o'clock, depending on the time that I was able to shut it down the night before. But usually 4:30 or 5 in the morning is my start time. I start with a meditation, and then I move into physical activity. And then after physical activity, I am getting ready to get out and get my day started by 7:30 in the morning. And that's when my work day starts. And when my work day ends, I don't know, 9, 10, sometimes 11 at night.
That's interesting. I have a follow-up question. I have a follow-up question for all three of us for that. Steve, what about you? What time are you typically waking up and when do you start working?
Wake up at 5 a.m. I don't do any of the things that we were talking about except for audiobooks. I wake up and I go straight to the gym, whether it's playing basketball Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, or going to work out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. After that, I get home, get the kids ready, drop them off at school. 8:15, I send a text message to my assistant, tell her I'm ready, and then she calls me and she gives me an update from yesterday. Right, here are the emails we didn't respond to. Here are the text messages. Here are all the Facebook DMs, whatever. It's like, how should I reply to all these things? And she replies to all of them. And then by the time we're done with that call, I'm at the office, ready to work at 8:30.
I love that. All right, I'm a little bit different. You guys got to figure out your own pace.
Tell us yours.
Pace is insane. Just want to qualify that.
I'm insane. And so you have to understand this, guys. I get people that DM me on Instagram all the time and go, I've been trying to wake up at 3 o'clock. It's like, yo, dude, do not take that pill. Like, do not go down that road. I was programmed from a young age. My parents would wake us up 4:30 in the morning and we would read the scriptures. Like, as a family, we would go up into a family. This is also why community is so important to me. And I fight so hard for communities because that's what I had so strongly when I was a kid. So I woke up early. And then when I was a Mormon missionary, same thing. You wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you get after, you start working. Okay. So I've always been that guy. I've now conditioned myself. It doesn't mean I'm not tired a lot of times, but I conditioned myself to wake up between 2:30 and 3 o'clock, usually on average, every single morning. I will have the random day where I wake up at 5 a.m. It's random, but it is what it is. I don't set an alarm. I wake up very early. For me, the first thing that I do is I go downstairs, I say hello to my dogs, I make sure they're fed and watered, and then I sit down. I'll typically hang out for like 5-10 minutes, just kind of get my body ready, and I'll do something around the house. I'll do a load of laundry before we hired help at the house. I'll go out in the garage and blow out the leaves from my garage. I'll go out to the pool, skim the pool. I will do something active right out of the gate to get my blood going and get my mind thinking. And then I start working like immediately. I hired people on the East Coast specifically. By 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, it's 7 o'clock their time. And I start slacking them, emailing them, voice memoing them, and just getting everything out for the day, talking to every one of my individual teams, depending on the business. And then what that allows me to do is that by the time my daughter Corbin and Monday wake up at like 7, I've done 4 hours of work, and I can go spend 3 hours with my kids without any interruptions at all. And so that's super important to me. And then I work from typically 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, all the way until whenever the work is done. And I decide I want to come home, hang out with my wife. The good thing is all three of us spend a lot of time at home. I probably see my kids 5-6 hours every day. It's just that I work longer than most people. So here's my follow-up question to both of you guys. If you guys are so rich, Steve and Jamil, if you're so effing rich and you're financially free, why do you work so much?
Love this question.
So for me, I don't do it for the money. It sounds crazy. Money is just a way of keeping score. For me, I want to see if I can do everything possible, right? Like I was put on this planet for a reason, and I want to maximize my potential. And that sounds crazy, right? Who cares? But people ask me like, why do you do this? And if I say I'm doing this for my wife and kids, my legacy, I'd be a liar, right? It's not true. If I was doing this for my wife and kids, I could have quit a long time ago, right? I'm doing this for me. I'm trying to see what I can do with what I have. Just like I mentioned basketball earlier, right? Why am I going to the gym and practicing jump shots? I'm never going to make it in the NBA. I couldn't even make it to the high school team. I want to see what I can do with what I've got. And it's the same thing with business.
I love that answer. Jamil, what do you got, brother?
Well, I mean,
by the way, there's 1,000 people listening to you right now. We hit 1,000 people on Wholesale Hotline.
They're waiting
watching
for this.
Mr. Jay Damji and Steve Trang to be dropping bombs all night. So thank you guys so much for showing up. We love you guys. We appreciate you. 1,003 people watching, listening to Jamil's answer coming up right now.
So why do I do it? I absolutely am fueled by seeing the change in people's lives that I was able to be a part of. Like there is nothing that I get more enjoyment from than receiving a message from a Mia Smith, from a Michelle Garabito, from a John Galan, from a Heidi, from the people that I've been able to affect, from the people that I've been able to help introduce this business and then help change them in ways that allows them to grow and evolve and to do things in their lives that they wouldn't have thought they'd be able to do. And to be a part of that, just to be a part of the beginning of their journey so that they can go off and affect hundreds or thousands of lives themselves. I see myself as a domino that is going to move thousands of other dominoes. And because of that, I take what I do really fucking seriously. Because I know that if I don't show up today, that there could be 1,000 people that are going to be affected or are not going to be affected because I didn't show up today. That's it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Here's I love Jamil's answer. I love Steve's answer. I'm going to give you guys something a little bit different because I am 100% in alignment with them, but I want to give you something a little bit different that they will both agree with as well. So check this out. Jamil and Steve, do you remember when you were in high school? Maybe Steve wasn't like this, but I can guarantee Jamil was because he's a little bit of a rebel in high school. Homeboy was running around probably wearing like a Raiders all-star jacket, cruising around in his Honda Civic with a spoiler in it, a 15-inch subwoofer in the back, rattling that shit. His hubcaps were falling off the car because his subs were so strong. But do you remember when you were in high school and your parents would give you a curfew and you just would show up late and your parents would be mad at you, and the answer for why you were late was, I lost track of time? Did you ever make that excuse?
oddly enough, I didn't have to because I didn't have a curfew because my parents worked so much. They didn't give a crap where we were, what was going on. It's not that they didn't care. They just didn't understand. They didn't know.
Right.
So Rahima and I were on our own.
Got it.
We were on our own.
So, but for me, Steve, I saw you nodding your head. I had a curfew, right? And my parents would always tell me, why are you late? And I lost track of time. I just lost track of time. So it was because you were having so much damn fun that you didn't really look at the clock, right? So I look back at this little story I have. Back when I was in elementary school, I went to the school right here, North Ogden Elementary School, right here. Okay, this little school. And my friends and I, every day, we would walk down literally just 3 blocks, and we would walk down to this same 7-Eleven store. It's still there 30 something years later, 33 years later, it's still here. And we would walk right down to the 7-Eleven. We'd buy like little Swedish fish. You know, we'd all spend probably a quarter a day. And every once in a while, we'd get a ruby red squirt. And this was like the destination for the day, right? This was the ultimate goal, was to hit this point. And one day, probably after like halfway through the school year, my 3 buddies that I was walking to Circle K with were at like a summer camp or whatever else, and I was left by myself. And I was like, all right, no problem. I don't need them. I'm just going to go down, get my Swedish fish. I'm going to get my ruby red squirt. I'm going to do all this kind of stuff, and I'm going to have a blast. It's going to be great. And I was like looking forward to it. And for some reason that day, the Swedish fish didn't taste as good. And for some reason, the ruby red squirt just wasn't as fizzy. And the reason being is because the journey with my friends was the most important part. It was never the destination. And so I think about what Steve said, where he said, I'm trying to accomplish as much as I possibly can. Guys, I remember when I would walk with my friends in 6th grade, we would intentionally walk slower so we could enjoy more time together. And so you got to ask yourself, are you hanging out with people that make you lose track of time? Or are you focusing on some magical destination that ends the journey? Guys, focus on the journey and focus on the people you are doing it with. That is the reason why we work so hard. We enjoy every freaking minute. It is never the Swedish fish, and it is never the fizzy cola. It is always who you're with, what you're talking about, and enjoying every freaking second along the way.
And I just want to add to that, if you're waiting for the destination to become happy, you're never going to be happy.
Yes, 100%. And Jamil, did you sag your pants? Master Ween needs to know.
I did not.
Come on, dog. Tell us the truth.
I did not. I did not sag my pants. I had too many weapons in them for me to sag them.
Oh, that's so good. All right, cool. Here we go. Let's jump into a couple of questions. This is awesome. A lot of people talking about their morning routines, which I appreciate all of that, guys. How can you build confidence every day? Let's talk about that for some new people that are not feeling super confident in this business. What's a couple of things besides meditation that we can do to build confidence?
So I think the biggest thing is to build confidence is to do what you set out to do, right? And so I think we have these things like, I'm going to do 10 deals a month. I'm going to have $100,000 months. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I love what you guys are doing with your elephant challenge, right? Could you write a contract today, right? I set out today to submit an offer. I submitted an offer. Tomorrow, can I submit 2 offers? All right, I submitted 2 offers. The next day, can I talk to 5 realtors? All right, I talked to 5 realtors, right? Setting these objectives, hitting them consistently is how you build confidence, right? Getting the reps in, but not setting yourself up to this crazy thing where you're comparing yourself to Pace or Jamil. I feel terrible that I'm not waking up at 2 a.m. like Pace, right? But then I tell myself I'm not Pace, and it's fine, right? But I think just setting yourself a couple of simple objectives. I'm not saying set super low barriers, right? It's nothing like that. It's just set out your goals, accomplish them, raise your goals a little bit, accomplish those, set out some more goals, accomplish those. So just rising steadily, and you'll have all the confidence you need.
I love
That's
that.
great.
Jamil, what are your thoughts on building confidence?
I think confidence is a product of your integrity, 100%. And so if you do not keep your promises, much along the lines of what Steve's talking about, is if you don't keep your promises, if you are telling yourself that you're going to get up tomorrow and you're going to wake up at a certain time and then you don't, then you lost integrity, right? And when you lose integrity, your confidence diminishes. It is a natural result of losing integrity is diminished confidence. And so how do you gain confidence? You keep integrity. You keep integrity, and the thing you say, you do. And then you do that again. And then you do that again. And then you do that again. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, I'm real. And then when you become real, I'm telling you, you don't
It's
need
huge.
confidence because you're real.
That's huge. I love that a lot. Michael Diaz says, it's impossible to feel your way into action. You must act your way into feeling. I love that. I can tell you most people, when they're saying, I feel lost, I feel this, I feel overwhelmed, whatever it is that they feel, I can tell you that the majority of the time it's that they lack one thing. They lack movement. So guys, you need movement, right? And you guys ever feel like stagnant? Even at our levels, I'm sure there's certain things in your life for a couple of days where like nothing big has happened. I haven't been done a big juicy deal, or nothing crazy has happened, or whatever else happens to me. I don't know, every 2 or 3 weeks. I just constantly remind myself, like, all you need to do is create a little bit of movement in one of your businesses that's noticeable, and then you get addicted to that wave again. Do you guys ever feel that, where you're lacking movement and you just go, I just go out and create some action, go shake some things up and create some movement, and then all of a sudden you have all the excitement or whatever that you were missing the day before?
I do all the time. It pisses off my wife and my organizations, all the companies. But
what do you have specifically for us to share? Anything recent?
So I partnered with Paul Sparks. Yeah, I brought him to the Keegley meetup, which I believe the next one's tomorrow. I brought him to the last Keegley meetup, right? And we're starting a new podcast. We're going to be talking about certainty, right? Like what kind of measurements, what kind of metrics, right, to reduce risk in your career. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And I brought it to my team. It's like, guys, this is what we're doing. And they're like, Steve, we can't do this. Like, when are we planning on doing this? Like Friday. They're like, Friday? Like you're telling us on Monday we're starting a new podcast on Friday, right? But is that, we're like, I see an opportunity. I want to do something exciting. We want to do something big. What do? We launch another show. So yeah, to your point about sometimes you get stagnant and you want to go stir up some stuff. And I only know one way to stir things, and it's making a big impact. So
yeah, I love that.
Frustrate people, but that's what we do.
You got to do it. I mean, even like I'm doing this elephant challenge thing right now, and I got a text message from Kelly on my team. She's like, you realize this takes a lot of resources, energy. We probably need to hire 2 new people to do it. And I said, okay, great. Let's go do it. And in fact, she's like, we don't have time before the next challenge. I go, great. I'll do it myself. I'll wake up earlier. I'll do whatever. I'll get sub 2 students as volunteers. I'll figure it out, but I'm not going to let a lack of resources or a lack of whatever, anything else stop me. I'm going to do it. And yes, it does frustrate people because, as visionaries, we're going to go and get it done regardless of what we have accessible to us or not. Well,
I want to stop on that base. I think you're absolutely right. And this is one of the things that pisses some of the people off is like, hey, this is what I want to do. Like, we don't have the resources for it. Okay. And it's the same thing as you. I'll go do it myself. I'll stay up later. I'll wake up earlier. I'll work on the weekends until it's at a point where now you guys believe in the project, and now we're dedicating resources to it.
Jamil, is the meetup tomorrow or is it on Wednesday?
It is on Wednesday, the 27th at 6 p.m. at Keegley. We're going to have the top acquisitions guy. Steve, I reached out to your team, but I didn't get a response, and I'm going to ask you this live. I've got Pace's top acquisition guy coming and speaking on the panel. I got Zabak's top acquisition guy coming and speaking on the panel. I've got Carlos Reyes's top acquisition guy coming and speaking on the panel. I've got Brent Daniels's top acquisition guy coming and speaking on the panel. Can we say that we'll confirm Steve Trang's top acquisition guy will be on our panel at the Keegley meetup on Wednesday, the 27th at 6 p.m. in Phoenix, Arizona at the Keegley office?
I'll have to get back to you. I apologize. This is the one thing I've learned is when I commit my people to stuff, I get slapped around in the office. I will wholeheartedly get back to you.
I like that answer. That shows maturity. That shows maturity, Steve. I like it.
Anyone can go.
Nancy, Steve is talking, or Jamil is talking to you. Nancy says, can anyone go to the Keegley meetup, Jamil?
Absolutely. It's free. We'll have Chick-fil-A there, sponsored by Capital Fund. And you're going to be able to pick the brains of the nation's best wholesale operations acquisitions team. You're going to be able to ask them, what lists are you pulling? Are you pulling lists? How are you skip tracing? Who are you skip tracing with? How many cold calls does it take for me to get a contract? What is your average cost per contract? How many times do you poop a day? Whatever questions you have, you can ask them.
I love it. Do you guys mind if I selfishly plug this for about 30, 45 seconds real quick?
Please go ahead.
I just want to make sure that people that don't know about the Elephant Challenge, what it is and why I didn't talk about it and didn't give it a lot of leeway. Usually when we do a challenge, we talk about it for weeks and weeks and weeks to let people know it's coming up. This thing got out of control. What happened is I originally planned to move to Washington, Tacoma, Washington, and do a 30-day challenge where I start a brand new business with somebody who's never done a deal before. Her name is Robin Hurt. And what happened is Jamil and my TV show on A&E, A&E asked me to move my challenge from July to August. And I go, no problem. I'll move my challenge from July to August. Not a problem. We already have, I think, 15,000 people to watch that challenge live. People have already signed up, 15,000 people. And then about a month later, A&E then says, guys, if you are curious about the Elephant Challenge and what it is and why it is, everything I'm telling you right now is leading up to telling LaShawn Williams the answer to his question. Okay, so please pay attention if you are curious about the Elephant Challenge. We're actually extending it, doing it tonight at 6:30. So in 9 minutes, we're starting it. It's on Zoom. I've given you guys the Zoom link. I'll give you in the side comments as I talk through it. The Zoom link is right there. It's on Zoom. It's free, completely free. So what happened is A&E then extends us from August to September. And I'm like, okay. And then they went into September. And now I have to move the challenge all the way to October. So imagine being Robin Hurt, that you heard Pace Morby was going to come and move to your state and be your partner for 30 days. And every time you got on a new Zoom with Pace, Pace would apologize and go, sorry, Robin, we're going to have to move it 30 days. We're going to have to move it 30 days. We're going to have to move it 30 days. She's sitting there saying, hey, I thought we were going to partner. Let's go. So I came up with this little basic training and I go, you know what? Let's at least do a basic training. Like, what does a wholesale contract looks like? What does an assignment contract look like? We filled those out on Sunday. I wired $20,000 somebody on Saturday during this challenge. I showed people how to set up a wire, literally like all the basic things in real estate. I'm just going through them and doing them for everybody on the Elephant Challenge. Why did I call it the Elephant Challenge? Well, because that's how you eat an elephant, is one bite at a time. It's the same way you take down real estate, one little nibble at a time. Don't try and take down the whole elephant. And so we've been teaching people how to comp. We've had Benson from Privy come in a lot. We've had me talking to agents, me talking to wholesalers, filling out contracts, walking through construction estimates. We've been doing all the basics and then filling all the gaps that people are like, wow, I had no idea that this person did that and blah, 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 blah. We've had close to 1,500 people show up every single day, Monday through Friday last week from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Hundreds of people called in sick to their job to be part of this. It blew up to the point where I couldn't fit any more people on the Zoom. So we opened it up to YouTube Live. It then started blowing up and it got big. So what I then did is we then challenged ourselves to, as a group, the people in the Elephant Challenge, to break the world record of the most offers submitted in one single day. And that is 966 offers is our goal. So that challenge is going on right now. Okay. It is Monday night, Tuesday night, and then Wednesday this week. Wednesday, we are submitting 966 offers. LaShawn says, I need to get on a team for the Elephant Challenge. What can I do? Show up to the Elephant Challenge. Carly on my team will help you out, and we will get you in the right place with the right people. We will walk you through and make sure you're on a team. What I've done is instead of people feeling like, we give this advice all the time, reach out to people and squat up with them. We're not allowing that anymore. We, as leaders, are reaching out to people who are falling behind, and we are bridging that gap. And so if you are not on an accountability team, what I'm doing is putting 5 of my sub-2 students as the leader of every team. We are putting a transaction coordinator as the leader of as one of the leaders on every team. We are adding a lender just in case people need earnest money or deposits or whatever else. We are literally giving you all the resources to go and submit offers, utilizing the tools we've been given. It is happening right now. It'll start in 6 minutes. So please, if you guys are not, you don't know what it's about, get your ass to the challenge. It's completely free. It's on Zoom, and we're starting it in about 5 minutes. So there you go.
Hey, Jamil, I slacked my guy. I'll let you know what he says.
Amazing.
All right, cool. So Pace, when will you be doing that again? I really need to know how to fill out a proper contract. So Carmelita, this is why I brought this up, is I saw your comment earlier. I streamed it live to YouTube. So go to my YouTube channel from yesterday. It was 3 hours I took away on Sunday morning, and I walked through, gave you guys a copy of our wholesale contract, gave you a copy of our assignment contract, and I walked through and showed you exactly how to fill it out. Literally did that yesterday for 3 hours. It's on my YouTube channel. Go watch it. It's completely free. So it's not that I need to do it again. I built it, so you can go and watch it right now. It's not as fun when it's live. I think we all probably learn a lot more live than we do on, watching regurgitated videos, because I think what happens is people watch a video and they have a hard time focusing. They like start twiddling with their phone and they miss all the important things.
And you don't get the benefit of being in the chat.
Yeah.
That live is incredible because of the networking that you get to do in the chat. I mean, how many deals has Ingrid done from people that she's met on Wholesale Hotline? How many people have done deals from your previous challenges or my challenges? And this just happens. This is a natural effect that happens when you connect with folks live in a chat like that. You make friendships, and those friendships then turn into business relationships, and that turns into money.
I love it. Christian Hernandez out of LA right now. By the way, people say you can't do creative finance deals or even cash deal in LA. Christian Hernandez, I swear, probably locks up 2 creative finance deals every single week out in California. So guys, he is a beast. If you guys are looking for somebody to squat up with in California, he's an amazing, amazing human being. Okay. Jamil, this is on Washington in Tempe, right? Is there a link that people can RSVP or something to the meetup?
Yeah, Bobby will put it in the chat right now. Bobby Cano, throw that link for the registration for the meetup in the chat, and we'd love to see you there. Come get some Chick-fil-A.
I will be there. Matt Beard from my acquisition side of things. Matt Beard's. I also was thinking about inviting Hayel, because I think she might be the only female that might be on the acquisition panel. Would you be okay if I invited Hayel?
Absolutely, that would be great.
I think it'd be really cool. There's a lot of women in the group that probably would really, really love that. And in the future, we'll invite Ingrid. Ingrid, she's a killer. She's been doing great for the last year or so. Jose Almonte Vargas says, are there any real estate meetups in Connecticut? There's meetups everywhere, especially if you link in with Sub 2 or Astro students. Jamil and I get tagged on people doing their own meetups all the time from the community. They're going out to dinner. They're going on double dates. They're getting together at churches, parks, etc. By the way, I'm going to be in Charlotte in 10 days doing a meetup in Charlotte. So I'd love to see you guys out there. Jamil, unfortunately, won't be there with me. You will be, I think, taking Charisma back to Canada, or you will be on a plane flying to see Grant Cardone for a meetup that you're having with Grant Cardone.
Yeah, when is that you're doing that in North Carolina, Pace?
I'm doing that on August 9th and 10th, and I'm flying out, I think, on the 9th in the evening to get straight out to Miami to link in with you.
Got it. Yeah, I'll be unavailable just because of the reason that Pace just said, but heading to meet with Grant on the 10th.
Very, very cool. So here's the link, everybody, for the meetup on Wednesday. If you are in Arizona or even a nearby neighboring state, feel free to come down. Last time, I think Jamil had a couple hundred people. It was packed, dude. I couldn't even move around. It was amazing. The meetup is in person. At Keegley office, Tempe. Okay. Address is at keegley.com/meetup. It's Wednesday, July 27th at 6 p.m. Arizona time. You should live stream this, by the way, bro. I'm just letting you know you should live stream it.
Yeah, we're working on that. Right now, we just want to make sure that people show up live, just get people back in person and rubbing elbows and hanging out.
Love it. Steve Trang, you've got a new show coming up. I want to hear about that. You've got the floor as we wrap up the show tonight.
Yeah. So again, it's Certainty Talks. The premise is basically, what would your business look like if you've never made a mistake in your life, right? Like if you never had a 0 month, if you never had a negative month, what would your business look like? So Paul Sparks and I will be talking about the principles of certainty, minimizing risk, maximizing upside, maximizing optionalities. Again, one of my favorite business books of all time is The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham. And a lot of the principles and concepts that we're going to be talking about is pretty boring, right? It's pretty high level, but it's just, we're going to be talking about how to make decisions that lower risk and increase upside. Certainty Talks. We're going to be talking about certainty. It's going to be on Friday on my channel on Real Estate Disruptors.
Freaking love it. Steve Trang, the GOAT. Jamil, what do you have for us today as we wrap up?
Guys, go to the Bigger Pockets YouTube channel and check out my latest video on Bigger Pockets, all about wholesaling. We want the people, we want the audience at Bigger Pockets to understand that wholesaling is a viable business model, that it's not just full of shady scammers and people that are trying to rip off grandma. We want people to understand that you can be a real estate agent in wholesale, that you can be a good person in wholesale, that you can make money in wholesale, and that you can wholesale and not go to prison. Because the real estate community as a whole has the wrong impression of what wholesale is because of some weird actors in the past, but we are changing that. And you guys need to be a part of that change. So go to Bigger Pockets YouTube channel and search Bigger Pockets YouTube or Bigger Pockets Jamil. It's the latest video that was just released today. Watch that. It's 14 minutes long, guys. Watch the entire video so that the algorithm sees that you watched it. There's 900 of you right now still on this. Go 900 of you, all watch it and leave me a comment. And guess what? Whoever leaves me a comment and watches the video, I'm going to be doing a one-on-one training with. So here, not every person, but I'm going to pick one person out of the comments. I'm going to do a one-on-one for an hour where you get to pick my brain, ask me all the questions you want about wholesale, and I'll happily answer them so that you can all have a chance to do that. Just click on that link that's up there right now, the YouTube link that's there, and watch that video. It would be immensely beneficial to the entire wholesale community if people saw that there was some support behind it.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Guys, thank you for watching Wholesale Hotline. On the Elephant Challenge, it is going right now. We already have 700 people on that Zoom. So hurry up over there. We'll see you guys there. It's completely free. I know people say that lightly, like it's not, but it is. We're just teaching people the basics of wholesale. The goal is for you guys to actually submit offers and submit offers and submit offers with people as accountability groups. So head on over there.
That's how I started.
By making offers, wax on, wax off.
Yeah, baby.
And we out. Thank you guys so much.
Wholesale Hotline 128. Later.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say that thing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool.